WGPR Detroit HD2.
You're watching WHPS, Highland Park, Detroit. The views and opinions expressed on the following show are not necessarily the views and opinions of WHPS, its affiliates, management, or sponsors.
My name is Watson.
And my name is Mariah.
We're 12 years old.
And we're representing Redford Academy Middle School.
And we're here to talk about drugs.
Drugs are very dangerous and unhealthy.
And they can also ruin a relationship with your loved ones. Go talk to a family member, a friend, even a teacher, or you can go to a therapist, or if you need any extra help, you can go online and find all of them.
Hashtag not worth it.
Hello, good people. Good day to you. I am Heather Heteru, your host, the co-host of Expose Under the Sun. My co-host, Darren Griffin, will be in our next show, and I am happy to be here with you today. I'm happy to have in the studio with me my friend and teacher, Ma'at Sabah. We're going to have a really great discussion today. So we're going to start off, as I always do. I want to encourage you in two ways. I'm going to encourage you to first find your joy and recognize that this year, the year 2022, is a manifesting year. And what that means is to pay attention to what you're thinking, what you're saying, and what you do. So all of the seeds that you planted last year and all of the experiences that you had to help you navigate what you want, where you want to be, and what you want to include in your life, those things that no longer serve you have fallen away and are falling away. The more you focus on what you want that brings you joy. And so the joy that we're speaking of as we talk about community wellness is the joy that comes from what you do for yourself. That's not connected to someone else. And it's one of the ways that we have to look at our lives in this journey in this season. So one of those things is that you have to be able to find joy even if it's disconnected from the people who you love and you care about. So what that means is that those things that are not influenced by you doing something for others, because a lot of people are happy to give and to share and to serve, but those are things that you do as an outward expression for someone else. What we're talking about are the things that bring you joy that you may do just by being near the water, or maybe by writing, or my new hobby is coloring. I know that sounds kind of weird for a grown-up, but it is a total mindless activity where it actually allows me to reset. So one of the ways that I found joy for 2022 is actually there are lots of coloring books. They can be faces or masks or nature. It doesn't really matter for me what it is. It was just an opportunity to be able to allow my creativity with the use of colors and the use of shapes and connecting to those moments, that I'm just focusing on that. I don't have to focus on the laundry. I don't have to focus on work. I don't have to focus on what I need to do in my community work. I don't have to think about anything but where I am and being present in the moment. And so that's what coloring does for me. So as we talk about, our topic today is reconciling. And again, we're looking at this from the lens of community wellness, but we know that wellness begins within first. And so our guest is going to help us to understand in her business and in her work what that looks like, and then help us with some tools to be able to navigate that too. Again, remember, the ultimate goal is to find your joy and to manifest those things that you want this year. So I'm going to welcome her again, our awesome and amazing Ma'at Sabah.
Thank you.
If I know this is a question that you probably get often, but can you share a little bit about what your name means? It's such an awesome, it's such an awesome name. So if you don't mind.
Okay, well, Ma'at means it's the Egyptian or Kemetic goddess of truth, balance, justice, harmony, reciprocity, right order, and universal law. Sabah, the last name means teacher or one who teaches.
That's
so when you put
awesome.
that all together,
Right.
you know.
You have the wisdom that we have in the studio. Absolutely. Thank you.
I try.
So, can you tell us a little bit about Relationship First Aid? I know your business is both relationship first aid products and services, but also the Ma'at Sabah network and kind of what that looks like.
Okay. Well, Ma'at Network is the actual name of the business, and that is the umbrella for all of the things that I'm doing and aspire to do in the future. The Relationship First Aid is a program that I'll just say it was divinely given to me because that's nothing that I could have come up with on my own. And what it is it is a format to allow people to go within to deal with your stuff, to look at the dark parts and the painful parts of your life that you don't want to look at. But the beauty of it is the way that it was given to me is that it does it in a non-invasive way. So you can really look at the pains of childhood or relationships or just your own so-called inner demons, how to address those in a non-painful way. And it has to become a lifestyle. So once you learn the principles and use the tools that are given to you in the program, your life will change.
It will change.
It will change. And you will be looking for those things that you've been running from in the past. That sounds crazy. But you will look for the areas within yourself that you know you need to work on because it doesn't hurt anymore. And at some point, the more you do it, and the better you get at it, at the process, it almost becomes funny, you know. So like, you might have a negative interaction with someone, and when you use the tools and you realize that, man, I'm doing the same thing. They're just doing it different. So they're really reflecting me. So as they say, there's one finger pointed at other people, but there's three pointed right back at you.
Right.
That is the absolute truth.
Yes.
So
That's
it's
amazing.
awesome process, and to see the results that people get if they apply it to their life, and that's the key word. You have to apply it to your life until it's a lifestyle, and then your life will change.
It will change, absolutely. And I'm a testament to that. I've been a student of Ma'at Sabah and that Relationship First Aid. I used it once in a marriage relationship, and then I use it also, some of the tools that you shared with us, I've used them in my journey. Because sometimes when you just can't figure it out, you have to really stop, pause, and reset, and reflect on where is that coming from? Where is it coming from? Where is that coming from?
Right.
And you know, it's hard, and sometimes it's hard to admit that what you're seeing reflecting back at you is your stuff. It's
All of
your
it.
stuff.
All of it, every time.
That's a hard. That's
That's
a hard
the hardest pill to
It
swallow.
is. It is.
But once you do it, and you start to see the changes in your life, then you want to continue to see changes in your life, and you'll do whatever's necessary, because happiness should be your ultimate goal.
Yes, I agree.
And we all look for happiness and peace. And this is it's not new, and that's the interesting thing. It's not new. These are ancient knowledge that was withheld from the masses of people, and it's out there now. And everyone has their processes on how they do that. But I just know what was given to me and the way that it was given to me, and the results are just, it's humbling when you see people's lives shift. You know, so my goal is to see the light come on. When I see that light go on, it's like, okay, they got it.
Right, right.
They got it.
So what's one of the, can you think of anybody in particular that took this process and applied it and some of the results that they're seeing in their lives now?
Actually, believe it or not, I have a prison ministry. That's my baby, is my prison ministry. And I have about 90 guys around the state of Michigan and one in Missouri right now. And I started out at Mount Correctional in the 90s, I think. And so I started sharing the information with them. And I literally have gotten emails and letters. The one that stands out the most is a young man told me when he applied the principles that was shown to him, he said, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life.
Wow.
Now, remember, he's in prison for life.
Wow.
And he said, I'm the happiest I've ever been in my life. And so I get a lot of comments and letters and cards from them. But once again, they had to do the work. And if you don't do the work, it's not going to work.
Right. You have to work the system
Exactly.
and for the system to
Exactly.
work. Absolutely. So can you talk about kind of some of the ways that we can reconcile in our journey? So I call them missteps. A lot of people refer to them as mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that we make mistakes. I think we take or have missteps. So you may have intended to do something one way, it actually turned out a different way. But so reconciling those things and much in the practice that you were talking about, but how do we look at when we think we've made a misstep or mistake as it's called?
Well, I don't believe in mistakes either. To me, I make choices. We make choices.
Right.
With the information that we have at the time,
Right.
with the emotional, mental, and spiritual level that we are at that time.
Yes.
Those are the choices that we made. Now, they didn't necessarily feel good, but it wasn't a wrong choice. It was another step on the journey. So I don't believe in making mistakes, and I don't care what it is. But there's two sides to every coin, and we're always taught to look at one side, but we're never taught to look at the other side.
Right.
So for one side might look like it was a negative and painful, but what is the lesson that you got out of it? Everything happens to you for you to get the lesson.
Get the
This is a
lesson.
school.
Right.
This planet is a school. It's a university.
Mm,
And so
nice.
it is. I mean, so, and just like in any school, you start at preschool and nursery or kindergarten, and you go up to different levels.
Right.
Well, in the journey of what we call life, elevation or spiritual growth, there is no level. You consistently growing this lifetime and lifetimes to come. There is no end goal. It's never over. It will never be over.
Wow.
And so when you get that, it's like if I told you, okay, get in the car and we're going for a ride, but this ride will last you through infinity. Are you going to constantly keep looking at when are we going to get there? When are we going to get there? You're not going to get there. It's into infinity. So now your only option is enjoy the journey,
Wow.
regardless as to what it looks like.
That's liberating in and of itself. Just to be able to shift your perspective on life and living, to be present in those moments and actually enjoy the lessons and gaining the lessons. That's amazing.
It is.
That's an amazing perspective. It's so wow. If we were actually able to do that, you know how much stress we could deflect? We could train stress into something useful.
Exactly.
A different type of energy altogether.
Now, this is one thing that I love. What would your life look like if you lived with no fear?
Ooh.
If you weren't fearful about what people were saying about you, what the choices that you're making, or you're scared to make a move, you're scared to leave a job, you're scared to get into a relationship, you're scared to leave a relationship, you're fearful about everything. What would your life look like if you lived it without fear?
I probably would have gone skydiving by now. My brother did the whole swimming with the sharks and swimming with the dolphins. Yeah, I wasn't ready to be shark bait or to tempt them to be shark bait. So I would probably like to do something like that if I didn't have fears in those areas of consequences of.
But challenge
Right.
yourself. It's like, okay, what's the worst that can happen? Now, of course, skydiving, we know what the worst that could happen.
I mean,
but
well.
but the thing is to enjoy life. I had a friend of mine, and she told me, she said, I don't want to ask you one question. I said, okay. She said, when you die, God asks you one question. Do you know what that is? And I mean, there's a whole lot of questions I thought maybe it could be. And I said, no. She said, the only question you're asked is, did you enjoy your life? And at that time, I would have to say no.
Wow.
So I constantly trying to remind myself of these little things, these little jewels here.
Right.
Am I enjoying my life? And if I'm not, why? Am I living for other people, or am I living for me?
Ooh.
What does it look like for me to live for me instead of me living for other people?
Ooh.
If I live without any fear
Right.
and I live for me, what would that look like? Now, that doesn't mean that you have people in your world, like family members and friends. Like my parents are older, so I'm helping to help them just through life because of the physical challenges that they have. So that doesn't mean that you don't do for other people and that you don't have selfless service to humanity. Because that's one of the keys to life. My dad said the key to life is to give everything you have to other people. So now in your service to humanity, are you enjoying your life and doing what you love to do? Live your passion. If you know what your passion is, if you don't, then that's 2022. That's a question for you to answer. What is your passion?
What is your
And then
passion?
step into it and start to live it.
Now, if you guys missed that one, you really need to go to the rewind. It is so amazing and important that as you understand that this is a journey of self-exploration. This is a space where we're supposed to learn. So we're supposed to take those opportunities where they come for us. So and like our guest said, to start to look at what would your life, question yourself. And maybe this is something we could do daily. Just question yourself, and if I had no fear, what would my life look like? What would I do different? And I think if we took that mindset and looked at that daily, it would really change the course of your journey. And then also examine those areas where you do have those fears. Like I am going to go skydiving because I want to overcome the fear. And it's on my list of things to do. I don't call it a bucket list per se, but because I don't want to add that as a bucket list item, but it is one of the areas that I want to take under submission. Another area, something that I would like to do, which this may not be as much of a fear as just uncomfortable. I love going to cabins and then exploring from there, but I like the fact that it has a bed and a fireplace and a kitchen. I'm not so sure about cooking and
Roughing it.
Right, roughing it. No, I'm not exact. If I can't do it in heels, I don't think it should be done anyway.
You can do it in heels.
Okay, well,
Yeah, you'll sink down in the dirt a little bit, but you can do it.
And probably get stuck in
You maybe.
stuck in place. but that's okay. Those are some of the things that I know I want to accomplish in 2022. So because I put it out there, because it's one of my thoughts, it's something that I'm speaking about, and I'm taking the action. So another one for me that I really want to experience, I want to get my pilot's license.
Okay.
And I've been on this course for this pilot's license for about 10 years. And so just taking small steps. So I ordered some books. I watched some videos. I talked to some pilots. I went to one of the meetings at a city airport, which is an amazing space. And so since the pandemic, I haven't really paid attention to what was happening at city airport. But it is an amazing group of Black pilots that are there. It's amazing history that's there. I mean, it's just one of those jewels that we really don't get to experience very often. But if you have a chance to find your joy, the path that it may lead you, you may never know. You may never know how it's going to impact others. And when I started talking about it, my niece said that, oh, I'd like to do that too. I'd like to get my pilot's license. I'd like to even just meet pilots who have their own planes or, the Cessna jets or planes. I don't know if they're called jets, but the Cessna aircraft. So she went with me. It was a nice brunch. They were trying to bring new, young African Americans into the whole industry of being a pilot and all the different components that make up that journey. And so it was such an exciting place to be. But it helped me just to be in that space. I felt like I could do it. And they were really encouraging because these are people who had the same thought at one point. They wanted their pilot's license. They wanted to have the experience of taking control of their own aircraft and learning the tools that go along with that. So anyway, that's just an exciting piece too. So now this question, I know this is deeply connected to relationship first aid. How do you release yourself from a victim mindset and mentality? How would you do that in this reconciling process that relationship first aid also offers some tools for?
Well, in the relationship first aid process, that's really what you address. You're not a victim. You're a creator. And when we own the fact that we're creating all of this, and coupled with the fact of karma. Now, the relationship first aid is built on metaphysical principles. And so I believe in reincarnation.
Okay.
I've had visions of blips of certain other lifetimes that I experienced. That the feeling came with it this lifetime, but I didn't know to make that connection.
Okay.
So, according to karma, whatever you put out must come back. If it doesn't come back the lifetime you're in, it will come back in another lifetime. And so I was sharing with a lady. She was telling me that she had a 5-year-old daughter, I believe, that had been assaulted. She'd been sexually assaulted. And she was questioning me as to how she's only been here 5 years. She doesn't even have karma yet. I said, this lifetime or previous lifetimes, if it is done to you, it has been done by you.
Ooh.
This lifetime or in another lifetime.
Wow.
So you can't do things and think that you're not going to get it back, because it just comes full circle. In the most opportune time in your journey for you to get the greatest benefit out of it. For instance, I had a friend of mine that there was a period of time that he kept having things stolen from him, coats and books and all kinds of stuff, just things stolen from him. And he was real upset about it. I said, I distinctly remember you telling me that stealing bikes when you were younger was the order of the day.
Wow.
You stole from someone steals from you.
Wow.
You curse somebody out and you get cursed out, don't get upset. So but teaching people how to make those connections on what they've done is not that simple. As it sounds, it's a little hard for you to identify where you've done it, because sometimes it's done differently to you. So we don't identify the fact that we've done things. And even we're talking about individual karma, because karma is not just for you as a person. There's individual karma, which is you, and then there's group karma. So, like, say, for instance, the city of Detroit has group karma. The United States has group karma. The planet has group karma. So as the United States, we've done things to other people in other countries that eventually we're starting to see it's starting to come back to us now. Our freedoms are being taken away. So there's things that the United States has to reap what it has sown. So that's the balance of the scales. It's justice. So that's a hard pill to swallow.
It is very difficult, yes.
But it helps because I keep remembering that if something's done to me, then I did it. There's no sense in me getting upset about it. I did it at some point in time. That is the only way that it can happen to me. It's like if you speak a word, you can't take the word back. You spoke the word. It's out there. The word will come back.
That's why we have to be careful of what we're thinking, what we're saying, and what
Exactly.
we're affirming with our
Exactly.
actions. Yes, absolutely. Oh, ooh.
Yeah, and it's a little bit more involved than that when it comes to karma, but this is, just a brief explanation
Right.
of victimization, and now I realize I'm not a victim anymore. And then I'll share that with the guys that were in prison, about being victims. At first, they were saying something like the people that they had assaulted or killed or robbed or whatever, we call them victims. So, but from the standpoint of which I share with them, they could understand what I meant about there's no victims.
Right.
So if you stole from somebody, at some point in time, that person has stole from someone or somebody else. Now, you don't necessarily have to steal from a person. You could have stole from a store. You could steal in your taxes. You could steal from a business.
Now you're getting a little too
stealing
deep.
work hours. I mean, there's all kind of ways to take something that does not belong to you. It's stealing.
Ooh.
Right?
Ooh.
So it can come back in different ways. It's just how that manifests in that particular experience.
Right.
So it's, like I said, it's a little bit more involved. So it would take me more time to explain it, but that's just the gist of it.
So let's take a moment and talk about how people can reach you. Where are some of the spaces that they can find Ma'at Sabah?
Right now I'm in transition. I just retired. My family used to own Loving Life Health Store. For the health food store has been in the family for 35 years. And so I just retired from there. So now I'm transitioning to begin to do this full time, which I stopped the relationship first aid to be at the store. So now I'm going to start back going full time. But I could be, it's on Facebook, Relationship First Aid on Facebook. It is, my email address is relationshipfirstaid@yahoo.com.
Okay.
And they can always reach me through Your Inspired Journeys.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. So if you resonate with anything that Ma'at shared today, I wanted to talk a little bit about our products before we close today too, because if you're on this journey, you need tools. You need the information, but you also need tools to help support what you're doing and where you're going. So if you just take a few minutes and just, because I think we're wrapping up, but give us a few the products that you offer too.
okay. Well, I have a line of books. My website is being redesigned, so it should be launched by March at the latest. But I do sage, all different types of sage: white sage, blue sage, dragon's blood. I have crystals. As I said, I have a book line. What else do I have?
You have the Ma'at memos.
The Mott's memos.
So just quickly, give us just a taste of Ma'at memos so people know how they can use that tool, because it's an amazing tool. It's a great reflection tool.
These are, it's a deck of cards, and they are just words of power. One of them says, don't put a question mark where God has put a period. That's one of my favorite ones.
Right.
I can't think of some of the other ones. It's like 160 something cards.
Right.
But you can just put them in a bowl or something, shake them up, and then pull a card. My daughter took them to work. And so all of the staff, when they're going through something, they'll pull like 5 cards and read them all. And then they can see where those cards give them the answer that they're seeking.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it's fascinating. I love it.
Thank you. So I'm going to also share my information with you. So if you want to pass through information to Ma'at, you can reach me at yourinspiredjourney.com. You can find me on Instagram, as we have our viewers watching us now. You can find me on Facebook at Your Inspired Journey. Also, there are lots of blogs, blog talk radio shows that you can listen to also. So I just want to make sure that we share with you, if you are interested in supporting or sponsoring an episode of Expose Under the Sun, if you're looking to advertise for your business, that Detroit Native Sun is a great tool for you. So if you want to reach out to learn more, contact Valerie. Her number is 313-457-5944. Detroit Native Sun News is a sponsor of Expose Under the Sun. So again, if you want to reach out to advertise, if you want to reach out to the newspaper to get it for yourself, her number is 313-457-5944. Again, that's Detroit Native Sun News. I am Heather Heteru, and we greatly appreciate your time, your effort, your energy today. We want to make sure that for 2022, that you find your joy, manifest what you know to be yours to manifest. So we thank you again as we just take this next step, and we're going to wrap up and close thanking our engineer and the station for allowing us to be here today. It's been an awesome day, and we hope that you continue to have an awesome day. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to your next visit.